You know this feeling. You drag yourself home after a long workday. You're tired. You tell yourself you'll just rest for a little while. But suddenly, it's midnight. Hours gone. Another evening wasted. Another day where your dreams got no attention. And tomorrow, the cycle will repeat. But what if I told you? The Japanese discovered a way to handle this exact problem centuries ago. Instead of fighting exhaustion, they built systems that worked with it. Systems that transformed their tired hours into their most meaningful ones. They had 5 principles, tested by samurai, monks, merchants, and craftsmen, that can turn your evenings from wasted time into building time. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to apply them, even when you're running on empty. Let's begin with what your brain does wrong the moment you step out of the office at 6 p.m. 1. Switch modes like a warrior. Here's your first mistake. You're trying to build personal projects with the same brain you just used at work. But after 8 to 10 hours of emails, deadlines, and meetings, your mind is still in survival mode. That's like finishing a marathon and then trying to sprint another one right away. Same body, yes, but the energy system is completely drained. The Japanese knew that the mind has different states, and each must be used for its proper purpose. Samurai described them as distinct minds: combat mind, sharp, reactive, defensive. Perfect for survival. Strategic mind, calm, creative, long-term focused. Perfect for building. Everyday mind, steady, automatic, routine-driven. Perfect for maintenance. Musashi, the legendary swordsman, wrote in the Book of 5 Rings about changing rhythm. When one approach stopped working in battle, the warrior didn't just push harder. He changed rhythm, like switching from offense to defense. At 6 p.m., your brain is still running on work mode software, defensive, approval-seeking, compliance-driven. That mindset protects your paycheck but kills your personal growth. To build something meaningful, you need curiosity, risk-taking, and vision. The Japanese solution: transition rituals. After battle, warriors didn't collapse. They polished their swords, practiced calligraphy, studied poetry, or meditated. These weren't hobbies, they were deliberate ways to shift their mental rhythm. So what does this mean for you? When you leave work, leave that version of yourself there. Don't bring the survival mode brain home. Create a ritual, maybe a short walk, a workout, journaling, or even changing clothes the moment you enter home. That's the signal. Work you is done, builder you begins. But here's the trap. Most people shut down work mode, only to boot up consumption mode, Netflix, social media, endless scrolling. That's not growth mode, that's decay mode. Which brings us to the second principle. 2. Collect weapons, don't consume them. Here's the truth. Every night, millions of people do the same thing. They watch YouTube videos about success, they scroll through motivational quotes, they read articles about entrepreneurs. And then, nothing changes. Why? Because they're not building, they're consuming. The Japanese merchants of the Edo period understood this problem. They had a practice called intelligence gathering. But it wasn't random browsing, it was purposeful. They collected tools, ideas, and resources during the week, and then, at the right time, they deployed them like weapons. Most of us do the opposite. We confuse consumption with action. Watching someone else win tricks our brain into thinking we're making progress. You get a dopamine hit for imagining yourself successful, but when the video ends, you've achieved nothing. It's mental sugar, sweet, but empty. Here's the Japanese alternative. Don't consume, collect. If you see a useful article, don't read it right away. Save it in a folder for when you're ready. If you find a tutorial, download it. Don't binge it tonight. Use it when you're actively practicing. If you discover a strategy, document it. That's a weapon for future battle. Think of yourself as a general stockpiling weapons before the fight. A true collector doesn't swing his sword at shadows. He sharpens it, stores it, and waits for the right moment. So tonight, instead of watching 10 motivational videos, spend 15 minutes collecting 3 real resources tied to your goals. Save them, organize them, and walk away. You're not a consumer anymore. You're an arsenal builder. But an arsenal means nothing if you never use it. That's why the third principle is everything. 3. 1 cut daily. This is where most dreams die. Waiting for perfect conditions. I'll work when I have a free evening. I'll start when I have energy. I'll focus when I'm in the mood. Guess what? After a workday, those conditions almost never come. The Japanese swordsmen had a principle: 1 cut, 1 life. Every strike mattered. No wasted swings. No sloppy movements. This is the heart of real Kaizen. Not the corporate cliché about continuous improvement. True Kaizen means touch your craft every single day, even briefly. Not once in a while in massive bursts, every day, consistently, even if it's only 5 minutes. Think about it. 1 paragraph written is worth more than an unwritten novel in your head. 1 guitar chord practice beats dreaming about a concert. 1 sales call today is more powerful than a flawless pitch deck that never gets finished. Your ego wants the dramatic 8-hour session. Your future only needs the daily 5-minute touch. Because here's what happens. You break the barrier of starting. You often go beyond 5 minutes once you begin. Even if you stop, your brain knows. This still matters. That's how mastery is built. Not in grand moments, but in tiny cuts that add up to a blade sharper than anyone else's. But what about the nights you're completely destroyed? When even 5 minutes feels impossible? That's where the 4th principle saves you. 4. The minimum effective dose. Life doesn't care about your goals. Some days you'll be sick. Some days a family obligation will take over. Some days work emergencies will crush your energy. And when that happens, most people do nothing. They hit 0. And zeros are deadly. Because 1 0 turns into 2, then a week, then a month. Momentum is gone. Starting again feels harder than ever. The Japanese craftsmen had a better way. They practiced maintaining the flame. Even on the worst days, they would do the tiniest action to keep the spark alive. Too tired to practice for an hour? Do 60 seconds. Can't write a chapter? Write 1 sentence. No energy for the gym? Do 1 push-up. The goal isn't progress, it's preservation. You're proving to yourself, I still show up, even at my lowest. Think of it like keeping a campfire alive at night. You don't need a roaring flame. You just need enough embers to reignite it tomorrow. So on your worst days, your only mission is this: don't hit 0. 1 keeps the fire alive. 0 kills it. And now we arrive at the final, often overlooked principle. 5. The strategic void. Here's a hidden truth. You can do everything right, switch modes, collect resources, take daily action, maintain your flame, and still feel stuck. Why? Because you never give your mind space to process. Look at your evenings. Every second is filled. Podcasts on the commute, music at the gym, YouTube while eating, scrolling before bed. Your brain is stuffed, but starving. The Japanese have a concept called ma, the power of the empty space. In music, ma is the silence that makes the notes powerful. In art, it's the empty background that gives the subject meaning. In life, it's the pause that allows insight to surface. Your best ideas don't come while working. They come in the shower, on a quiet walk, staring at nothing. Why? Because your subconscious finally has the room to assemble all the puzzle pieces. Einstein used thought experiments. Tesla visualized inventions in silence. Zen monks sat in meditation, not as escape, but as creation. So here's the final practice. Build strategic voids into your evenings. After work, before starting your project, 5 minutes of nothing. After collecting resources, 5 minutes of nothing. After your daily practice, 5 minutes of nothing. Not guided meditation, not breathing exercises. Just nothing. Sit, walk, stare. Let your brain breathe. This is where connections form, where breakthroughs emerge, where your scattered actions fuse into real progress. Let's recap the 5 Japanese habits for transforming your evenings. Switch modes like a warrior. Leave work brain at work. Enter builder brain at home. Collect weapons, don't consume them. Build an arsenal of tools, not a playlist of distractions. 1 cut daily. Touch your craft every night, even for 5 minutes. Minimum effective dose. On your worst days, do the smallest possible action to avoid zero. Strategic void. Give your mind space to connect the dots. Don't try to master them all at once. Add them week by week. By the 5th week, you'll have a system running that no exhaustion can stop. Your evenings are not recovery time. They're the building blocks of your future. The only question is, are you building your dreams or your regrets? So now I want to hear from you. Which of these 5 Japanese habits are you going to try tonight? Share your thoughts in the comment box below. I read every single one. And if this video gave you value, don't forget to like it, so more people can discover these timeless lessons.